Did you ever turn your strict parents' own dumb rules against them? My parents had this ridiculous rule. Home by 7 o'clock p.m. sharp. Not 7:01, not 7:05, 7 o'clock on the dot. My dad even installed this old-school wall clock near the front door, claiming digital clocks couldn't be trusted. If I was even 1 minute late, I'd lose internet for a week. No exceptions. The thing that really bugged me was that this rule only applied to me. My parents would roll in late from church events, late from neighbor barbecues, late from errands, but somehow their rule only existed when it came to me. I was 16 and watching my friends stay out until 9 or 10 while I had to sprint home like Cinderella every single night. It was embarrassing. One Tuesday, my dad got into a massive argument with our neighbor Kevin about where to put their trash cans. Kevin threatened to call the city about some violation, and my dad came inside absolutely fuming. "You know what the problem is?" he said, pacing around the kitchen. "Nobody respects rules anymore. That's what's wrong with this generation. Back in my day, when someone set a rule, you followed it." That's when the idea hit me. The next Friday, my parents left for dinner at my aunt's house across town. They told me they'd be back by 8:30 p.m. "We won't be too late," my mom said, grabbing her purse. I smiled and nodded. Then, once their car disappeared down the street, I went straight to the wall clock. I carefully removed the batteries, turned the hands back exactly 25 minutes, and put the batteries back in. The clock now showed 6:45 p.m., when it was actually 7:10 p.m. I spent the rest of the evening doing homework and waiting. At 8:47 p.m., real time, I heard their car pull into the driveway, but according to the wall clock, it was only 8:22 p.m. They walked through the front door laughing about something my uncle had said at dinner. "Perfect timing," my mom said, glancing at the clock. "Still made it before 8:30. I looked up from my textbook and said very calmly, "Actually, my phone says it's 8:47, and since the house rule is that we follow the clock on the wall for curfew times, maybe we should stick to that same logic going forward, right?" My dad stopped mid-conversation and stared at me. Then he looked at the wall clock, then back at me. "Did you mess with the clock?" he asked. "Nope," I said. "I respected it, just like you taught me to respect rules." My mom pulled out her phone to check the time. Her face went pale when she saw the numbers. "The clock must be running slow," she said quickly. "Weird," I replied, "because yesterday when I was 30 seconds late, you said digital clocks were unreliable and only the wall clock mattered. Remember? You took my internet away for a whole week." My parents stood there in complete silence. My dad's jaw was working like he wanted to say something, but nothing came out. "So," I continued, "based on the house rules, you guys are 17 minutes late. I'm just following the same standards you set for me." My mom started to say something about how it was different for adults, but I cut her off. "You always tell me that rules are rules, no exceptions. That's what makes them fair, right?" My dad walked over to the clock and stared at it for a long time. I could practically see the gears turning in his head as he tried to figure out if I'd actually touched it, or if it really was just running slow. But here's the thing. I'd been careful. I didn't leave any fingerprints or obvious signs, and even if they suspected me, they couldn't prove anything. Over the next week, something funny happened. The 7 o'clock p.m. curfew got temporarily relaxed while they figured out the clock situation. Then they bought a new digital clock for the living room. Then my curfew mysteriously became 8:30 p.m. instead. My dad never directly admitted the rule was stupid, but 2 weeks later, I noticed him taking the old wall clock down completely. "Clock's been running slow," he mumbled when I asked about it. "Unreliable." I never confessed to changing the time, but the message was loud and clear. If the rules were going to be that rigid and unfair, they better apply to everyone in the house, not just me.